Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. We have a video with several different updates regarding the Clayton Echard v. Laura Owens trial, the case that is now in the, I guess, in the appeals court, waiting. They've just submitted their appeal. Laura Owens' side did, and Clayton Echard will offer his response to that appeal. It'll go in front of appellate judges, I believe 3, and then we can hopefully put this thing to rest. Once that is over, I fully expect and am preparing to be sued. Why? Well, I don't know. We've done nothing but tell the truth, but it doesn't stop people from suing you. It just stops them from winning lawsuits. So with all that said, there's a new PR campaign being waged by Clayton's accuser, Laura Owens, and her attorney, who's sort of working as her PR person. It's very amateur level. I doubt he's even getting paid for it. It's quite bizarre. But what happens is Laura will sort of find a guy who's rejected her in one way or another, make him her focus, and then sort of almost obsessively try to end and destroy them. Only problem with us is we've just done the good work of exposing all of the weapons she uses to dismantle men, and I've never met her personally. I've just had the a good fortune of seeing her walk by me from about 30 yards away. And I have to say, it was not the highlight of my day. That was June 10th, 2024. The highlight of my day on June 10th, 2024 was actually seeing all the people come together on a very hot day in Scottsdale, Arizona to fight for justice. And Clayton received that justice as Laura Owens was then recommended by the judge for county investigators to look into her perjury. She's lied through medical fraud, changing documents, creating fake people, very sinister stuff. She's lied about the location of Planned Parenthood she went to. She's changed her story under oath. She's done a hell of a lot to destroy or try to at least 3, if not 4, if not 5, if not 6 different men. And by 6, I mean Clayton, Mike, and Greg. And you could argue me. Plus, you could argue Sean, the real estate guy, and you could argue Matt. That's 6 right there. Oh, throw Greg Woodnick into it. That's 7. And maybe David Gingras, her attorney, will be 8 when she's done with him. We don't know. But I'm going to share with you several thoughts of the vile, low-energy hate that they spewed about me. I can't even share that at the beginning of this video because it has led to a response from different members of the community. Reality Steve, our good friend Bruce the Moose in Oregon. And some of their responses are so heated and because they're so offended that I got to wait till the end of this video to share that, just as far as the YouTube ad rules are concerned. But first, what I'm going to share with you is the information that came out that Mike Maricini, who we initially called Victim 1, although he could be Victim 3, depending on how you look at it, from what we know, Victim 1, Mike Maricini, has filed a bar complaint against Laura Owens' attorney. So I filed a bar complaint. It was swiftly dismissed, but I'm still glad I did it because I created a paper trail of her attorney threatening to unhouse my family. And, he claims he's not making threats, but Bruce will explain to us what threats actually are. And we understand what a threat is from a mile away. It's like knowing a curveball is coming. Don't swing at it. So here's the opening statement. What is the general nature of your charge of misconduct? Do we have a date on this? I don't see the date here. This is what Mike had to say. My name is Michael Maricini. I'm a resident of California and was a subpoenaed witness for the trial of Owens v. Echard, which took place before Judge Mata on June 10th, 2024. I am formally notifying the State Bar of Arizona about the disturbing conduct of attorney David Gingras and his behavior in this matter and requesting intervention. Based on postings online, it appears that there have been other recent complaints filed regarding Mr. Gingras, as his behavior has impacted others. Please note this complaint and the extreme harassment that happened to me by Mr. Gingras is distinct from what may have been reported in recent weeks where he posted derogatory comments on his social media referring to people involving this case as special ed, announcing his lawyering to a cage fighter named Conor McGregor, who, by the way, hasn't won a fight in years, announced that he has somehow been responsible for lawyers being disbarred and incarcerated, publicly disparaged medical experts involving in the case by tweeting that their work product was a soft 2 Look up the vile definition on Urban Dictionary. Threatened to make reporters homeless and announced eagerness to read their obituaries in the days, and weeks leading up to the Owens-Echard trial. Mr. Gingras took to unilaterally harassing me on the internet, publishing private information about me on his personal Twitter and blog, post photos of me and threatens to have me arrested. His incendiary and personal comments about me, a reluctant witness in this case, and threats have been devastating to me and my family. His efforts to intimidate me into not appearing to testify, despite being subpoenaed, was witnessed by thousands of people online. Mr. Gingras then in person tried to have me arrested on June 10th in violation of laws prohibiting witness intimidation. His efforts to witness tamper were witnessed by court staff and security personnel. The details herein are not conjecture. They are documented because Mr. Gingras broadcasts himself as a First Amendment attorney, which to him seems to mean he has a free pass to threaten and bully people with impunity. Mr. Gingras, is they spelling his name wrong? Whatever, we get it. Overtly and deliberately tried to intimidate me into not testifying against his client. He posted personal information. So that's all we have here. So yeah, it's interesting because the bar complaint by Mike Maricini as a witness will definitely hold more weight than the one I had. The bar complaint from Judge Julie Mata will hold an incredible amount of weight. Some people think it could lead to a 6-month suspension of his license, which again, what's the difference? Does he even work? You know what I mean? I have no idea if he has quote unquote clients that quote unquote pay him. But what we see going on here is this is his audition. David Gingras, this is his audition for future clients who want to hire someone to harass people out of following through with a lawsuit. So he can look at this and say, I might not be making any money on this case, because I'm sure he's not. And then he can say, but I can use this to show any other thugs out there. If they want to hire me, I will come after the people that are fighting them. I'll come after their family. I'll do all these things. Now, what we know is, and again, I don't even know if I can say the 3-letter word spelled G-U-N. I don't even know if I can say that here. We're very tight on some of the words we can say in some of these videos, including the person I was accused of being similar to. There's just certain words that are very blacklisted. But when David Gingras waved a G-U-N on screen, he did it to say he was nervous about what someone might do to him. But plenty of people are taking that as a very strong threat about what he could do to a judge. Because you can go on camera and say, oh, I'm not threatening anybody. But what you're telling people is I'm carrying. It's interesting. And people have said, well, I don't even know how he was able to get a gun with a DUI arrest. And I don't know the specifics of the rules and all of that. But very crazy stuff went down where I'm being accused of being similar to a man who was a Sandy Hook denialist who has been sued for over $100 million. Natalie said here, so David Gingras decided to compare Dave Neal to Alex Jones. He says that Dave has lied, up to now has offered no specific video and timestamp of where Dave specifically lied. Dave can and has given us actual proof of the lies Laura has told. David Gingras is more akin to Alex Jones. Hashtag Darvo. Yeah, so, by the way, just for my Patreon chat, what does Darvo mean again? Deny, reverse, whatever it is. A lot of times projection happens especially in this case, when Laura and her attorney try to accuse other people of being something. They are the ones that have used every unethical means to smear these men, get things on record that are just real wild things. Me personally, as a YouTuber who has covered this case, I've been relatively immune from any, I should say, any sort of like real feelings of threats. Not because they haven't thrown them my way, but just because I've never met her, I've covered the case, and our hands are clean. Now, she'll say, as she did, that I've got blood on my hands because she threatened self-harm multiple times to not just me, but Clayton and actually others. And my response to that is, we have shared literally hundreds of hours of content from what Clayton said and from what she said, from every Reddit comment to every Medium article to what came out of the forensic laptop. I mean, we've shared it all. After compiling all of that evidence, we also put an opinion together, which is that she's a fraudster, she's a liar, she's manipulated documents, made them up, created people. She's literally astroturfed her way into victimhood. And astroturf is just what it sounds like. It's like grass, but fake. She's created a fake grassroots movement to try to get Clayton canceled from future jobs by creating a fake black journalist. All these things that we have solid proof of. Now, I'm being made to look like the bad guy because she has to deal with the consequences of not playing by the rules community has set. And the rules that community has set is to try your best, try not to lie, and try not to hurt other people. These are like simple biblical 10 commandment types of things. And she has violated those in every way possible by trying to get her way. It's like this. I took the lollipop. She cried and said, give it to me, give it to me. And I said, no. Now she's mad at me because she's crying, because she's hurt so bad. I haven't done anything to her. I've never met her. I've only exposed her. I've only exposed her like holy water on an exorcism to the burns of truth. So I want to share for you guys what some of you have said in defense of me, and it means so much. I'm going to share what Bruce and Lauren had to say. They came to my bat last night, and I'm also going to share first what Reality Steve had to say. So have a listen. And trust me, if you're a fan of me, I urge you to make sure to subscribe, if you aren't already, to Reality Steve, to Lauren, to Bruce, to Megan Fox, to anybody who's been on the right side of this story, because we have to stick together in dealing with some of this craziness. All right, let's have a listen to what Steve had to say.
My issue with Gingras now has become what he is saying about Dave Neal. And you'd be like, Steve, stop defending, your friend or whatever, but I'm sorry, I'm going to, because what he said last night is absolutely uncalled for. I think David Gingras is unhinged. I think there's something wrong with him. This is my personal opinion. But for him to say what he said about Dave Neal last night, and
your audio sucks. Man,
it really bothered me because first off, this whole thing, he's literally been calling Dave a loser and telling Dave to get a real job for the last 8 months. Now Gingras can't go 4 seconds without putting up a YouTube video. So which is it, Gingras? You think Dave is a loser for making and monetizing YouTube? Or do you think, or are you a loser for now joining the club late to the party and, 17 people care about your video? Okay, I'm exaggerating. What? Obviously, you got more views than that, but you're not making any money off this. You know it and I know it. So stop ripping on Dave for doing his job for the last 8 months since you took over this case. But for this guy to have the nerve to compare Dave to Alex Jones, a man who said that the Sandy Hook shootings weren't real and 26 families had to...
All right, so I'm just going to share some of what he said. As far as Laura is concerned, Dave and Alex are basically the same. Was Alex Jones worse? Absolutely, no question. But they are both incredibly cruel people who are peddling self-serving and completely one-sided narratives for money. So I agree they are not identical, but similar. I think it's fair for Laura to feel that way. You have no idea how devastating Dave's actions have been for her. Let's correct this. You have no idea how devastating it is to get called out for your actions. Look, she's never had accountability in her life, it seems. And you can take everything that David Gingras is saying here. He's working for her. So all of the vile vitriol that you hear from him, it's because she's okay with it and she's approving it. She just found somebody to do her talking. And I didn't watch their video, but apparently she doesn't get any words in. I don't think she's capable of speaking on her own about any of this. We haven't seen their podcast come out. It's a real dumpster fire what's going on over there. As far as PR is concerned, she should, I hate to give her advice. She should be hiring a crisis PR company, not an attorney who's known to be like a bully, of others. You know what I mean? It's very bizarre. It's not the right path. Now, I don't think a crisis PR company would take her on, and I also don't think she can afford that.
Listen to this windbag spew out a bunch of lies and now I'm saying that Dave Neal is no better than Alex Jones because all he does is spew out lies. Are you kidding me? See, here's the thing, Gingras.
Oh boy.
I have no problem. I mean, you're the big guy with the whole free speech thing, and everybody is free speech. I just want the facts out there. The thing is, when you attack Dave and say he is just like Alex Jones, you're not giving any examples other than saying all Dave does is spew lies on his YouTube channel. Well, number one, you've always said you despise Dave so much. How would you know what he says on his YouTube channel unless you listen to every single thing he posts? Clearly you don't. So unless you admit it now, then you're just supporting Dave. So which is it? Because every time you have said Dave spews lies, you never give any specific examples. What about the Fiverr video? What about the sonogram that he unearthed? What about the HCG levels?
The only video the only example he had of me living is when I said it was a lengthy appeal, not a lengthy notice of appeal, which, by the way, a notice of appeal is the first chapter in the appeal. So even where he thinks I'm lying, he's wrong. And I was, very quickly and easily able to disprove that.
I would highly suggest going to Dave Neal's YouTube page. I don't care if you think I'm pimping for Dave.
Pimp away, baba.
That he unearthed when he was doing the video with Megan Fox. Like, you never specifically say what Dave lies about. You just say he spews lies on the internet, just like Alex Jones does, so he's no better than Alex Jones. I'm sorry, 1 + 2 does not equal 3 in your equation about Dave Neal. It just doesn't. That's total bullshit. And just the subject matter, for fuck's sake. Dave Neal is actually talking and actually showing proof. If Dave was going on his YouTube channel and just spewing stuff about his opinion about Laura and just saying, well, she's a liar, I just know she is because I know, then you have a reason to call Dave out. But that's not what he's done. If you're going to call him out and going to compare him to Alex Jones, go into specifics. You got a YouTube channel now, buddy. You love it. You love seeing yourself on camera. You love flirting with Laura on camera. So go on your YouTube channel now and actually bring up a clip from one of Dave's video and show us where he's lying. But you can't, because he wasn't lying. And if Dave got something incorrect and he was wrong about a fact, point that out. But that's not a lie. It's different for him to be factually incorrect about something than you calling him Alex Jones, because Alex Jones lied. He didn't have any proof of anything. Dave has proof of everything that he has said in regards to Laura. It's funny because and then in the video you also say, and this is just, again, comparing him to Alex Jones, completely uncalled for. Then to bring his child into this, saying his child's not going to be proud of him when he's old enough and can grow up and Google what his dad did to Laura Owens?
By the way, when my child grows up and Googles me, he's going to find a Netflix documentary about Laura Owens. That's what he's going to find. So if David Gingras is worried about what my son's going to be Googling, he might be Googling how long of a prison sentence she served for the crimes she committed. How about that? Hey, thank you, Reality Steve. All right, let's let him finish here. Let's let him finish.
Are you kidding me? I can tell you right now, Gingras, Dave Neal didn't do anything to Laura Owens. Laura Owens did things to Laura Owens. I mean, it's just, it's hilarious because he throws out sentences like, people think Dave knows everything. And he said, I've spent countless hours talking to Laura on the phone, and all Dave has done is lied about her and made her life hell. Okay, that's fine that you've spoken to Laura. You're speaking from a place of bias. You're basically saying because Dave hasn't spoken to Laura as many hours as you have. And
okay, so in Reality Steve goes on, and go listen to the full thing. Now, but Reality Steve's also digesting David Gingras as if David Gingras believes what he's saying, and I don't believe that. He's able to say, well, she had a positive 102 level HCG, so I believe she was pregnant. So like he's able to take that specific indicator of a pregnancy and run with it, whereas unlike him and his, their sort of argument that they had with their doctor, MedChill, and all that, we, again, which has been agreed upon by the judge, argued she never proved she was pregnant in any substantial way, scientifically speaking. She only proved all of these lies. So that's that. You know, you don't get to earn my trust without, you know, while also lying to my face. No, I'll never trust her. I'll never trust anything she says. There might be things she says that prove to be true. I'll do the research to prove that, because I have got zero trust in her after having seen all the lies. All right, here's what Bruce and Lauren had to say. Bruce, look, you know, God bless Bruce. Met Bruce last year. Where did we meet? Seattle? Is that where? Yeah, Seattle, right? And then, of course, hung out in the van together on June 10th. Bruce was so helpful in so many ways. He does a good job of, you know, talking me down sometimes if I'm upset about something. And Bruce also does a really good job of kind of digesting what's going on in the community, because a lot of people, it can be very frustrating. A lot of people are very nice to me, but then not nice to others. And I look to people like Bruce and other close sources, close people in our community to kind of summarize what's happening, because I don't always get the truth to my face. And I've got a lot of trust for Bruce. For him to come out here, and by the way, Shannon in the chat room and so many people on Patreon right now, patreon.com/Dave Neal, are effing livid that my son was mentioned. Now, I've seen how defensive my audience is when Tasha's mentioned, as far as him saying he's going to make her homeless and things like that. I didn't think my audience could be more livid than how they reacted to the sweet and just unconditionally beautiful, kind little boy named August being brought into the mix here. And if you're wondering how August was brought into the mix, like Reality Steve said, David Gingras said, well, what are August's friends going to think when they Google him and find out that his dad maybe hurt this woman's life? As if I had anything to do with the story, which is further proof that I need to tell my story through a documentary and through a one-man show, which I will be doing as a way to elevate the truth, because she's going to share her side. It's wrong. She's now created a new Patreon. She's going to be soliciting donations from people and things like that. I encourage her, go ahead, do it. Have fun. No amount of my success is going to have to interfere with yours. She can do that all she wants. She's a fellow podcaster. Go out there and tell your story. I'm going to continue to follow the North Star of truth. Bruce realizes that, and I have to say, if I was, and now I have a bias here, but if I was a betting man, I would bet on Bruce betting on me more than I would bet on Gingras betting on Laura. Does that make sense? You picked the right community, Bruce. Here's what he had to say.
You know, when he says like, okay, Dave Neal's spewing vile lies, and he doesn't enumerate what they are, which is my problem with it. But then he goes on and he says, well, Dave Neal is analogous to Alex Jones making up a story that the school shooting didn't happen. And I think the quote was, Alex Jones did to murdered children what Dave Neal is doing to you, Laura. Yep. And my problem with this is that in the school shooting, we have evidence that the school shooting happened. We have fucking corpses. In this case, do we have any babies? Do we have any baby corpses? Do we have clinical proof of miscarriage? No, no, and no. That is the fucking difference.
I feel like I just got in trouble, and I'm on the right side of this. Bruce does a great job here of using volume and tone to deliver his point. And when you're somebody like Bruce, who's normally soft-spoken, taking it up a notch really sells the point and the message. Not that he needs to do this, you know, his words speak volumes, but elevating that really can put some goosebumps on your back. And that's what makes someone good at communicating, is being able to know when to shout and also know when to tone it down. Silence is great too.
Agreed.
Frustrating.
He says Dave should be neutral, and if you take a side, what if Clayton turns out to be wrong? Sir, people's positions and their opinions and their conclusions about things change when they get new evidence. The problem is you are not providing the evidence. You are simply saying over and over and over again, Dave is lying. But lying about what? When did he lie? In which video? What URL? What timestamp? When did he do it? What did he say? What is the proof that he lied? What is the correct information? These are the things you need to change people's mind in the court of public opinion, sir.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at all the women in the chat. They're like so happy when Bruce is angry. Like, Bruce is so hot when he's pissed.
I was just gonna say, man, it takes a lot to get Bruce upset, man.
I haven't even gotten to what really made me angry.
Oh boy.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, stay tuned for that.
Don't stop.
Okay. Then he says he never threatened Dave Neal. He just said, be careful. Okay? Now look, if I'm hanging out with my friend Nick, okay, and I'm like, Nick, you're going to go bungee jumping? Be careful, dude. Those things can be dangerous, you know? That is completely different than a complete stranger sending you a giant email, okay, full of warnings and be careful from a lawyer that you don't even know. Like if you're at a bar and you look at a pretty girl and some giant guy walks up to you and he says, be careful, that is a threat. So I don't think, you know, David Gingras, if he thinks that it's unfair for Megan Fox to say she doesn't think that you were scared enough on June 10th, if that's your argument, then you can't make the argument that me, Dave, or anybody else in the public found your email to Dave and your statements in your blog to him as threats, because we do. They fucking were threats.
And also, he told me not to share it publicly. That's like, I saw that from a mile away. Oh my gosh. Like, what grade do you think we're in?
You went on your second video and held up a gun. That's a fucking threat. And you'll be like, oh, give me a fucking break. It's just, you know, it's open carry in Arizona. We're on YouTube making videos trying to talk about facts.
And look, Omar didn't know that he held up a gun. So now Omar's like, wait, what?
A case, and you held up a fucking gun.
Did he really do that?
Then in today's video, he starts saying, you have a son now. You have to be more careful. This is a fucking threat. When you bring Dave Neal's wife or Dave Neal's child into the story, that is off the fucking rails. And you should be ashamed of yourself, and you should apologize for both of those things. And if you want to take punches at Dave, come knock me out first. Because we can talk about logic, we can talk about reason, we can talk about the rules of logic, we can talk about what is good evidence. Okay, I went to the school of Matt Dillahunty for debate.
Bam, son.
You want to come for Dave Neal? Come through me first. Otherwise, keep Dave Neal's family out of your fucking mouth.
Damn, Bruce. Tell him how you really feel. Gosh. It kind of feels like one of those, like, what do you call it? Oh, Captain, my Captain. Is that the moment where, you know, this was what was tough when we covered this case early on is before Megan Fox and the Law Tube got into it, you know, Reality Steve was on podcast only. There was this moment like, hey, and this is why I was so upset at Nick Viall, and this is why Katie Thurston told me off, because I was expecting that Bachelor Nation would have my back. You know, and I've had other content creators ghost me and not talk to me anymore and things like that. And I'm not saying that to be a victim. It's just like, what the fuck happened, you know? But this is, when you look at it, and by the way, everyone who follows me, you know, you see me work for hours on Patreon. It's actually been really good for my psyche to have Patreon, because you get to see like a 3 or 4 hour clip every single day. So you can't really accuse me of being a certain way when you get to just see me. Literally like a sixth of my life is on the private membership. So I can go through all the old videos and know what I said or what my tone was or what, you know what I mean? So no one can really twist my words around, because I have the work to show for it. I don't just have the answers. I have the math, right? So with that said, yeah, all of what I thought was going to happen in the fall, which was thinking, Rachel Lindsay's going to cover this. She's going to, Katie, no, I didn't even think Katie would because she didn't have a podcast. But, I thought, Nick Viall's going to go in hard. And he did in January. But we're talking 3-4 months of me kind of just standing there with my little cavalry thing going, come on, troops. And then they're just like, there's like no one on the horizon. And I'm like, where is everyone? And then what happened was, to continue using the war metaphor, is Megan Fox, Bulldog Megan, old alt-right Oprah, we love her, right? The choppers come in, and then all of a sudden, we've got Law Talk with Mike and Umbrella Guy, and Bruce gets on YouTube, and Lauren shares her psych evaluation. All these other people show up that the message got to where it needed to go. Because what people forget is that Laura Owens tried to silence me multiple times with a restraining order and a case of emotional. There's all these things in her playbook. If I was sniper down on leading that charge, I don't think these people show up. I don't think it ever gets out of Bachelor Nation. And then what happens is this. And it might sound crazy, but this is exactly how it goes. And we saw this from a mile away based on what happened with Mike Maricini and Greg Gillespie. They try to end it, they try to move on, and then she redoes her story. The whole Bachelor knocked me up story was going to happen. She was going to do this. We just called her bluff so quickly. And you always say, Mike Tyson, everyone's got a plan until he gets punched in the mouth. She metaphorically got punched in the mouth that she wasn't prepared for people to question her pregnancy. Because fakers who fake cancer, fake pregnancies, there's just certain things that you can fake. And we saw that she faked ovarian cancer. What, are you going to sue me for saying that? We got the evidence. We have a forensic, we have a laptop. You guys raised the money to get people to get experts to look into that. That's why Gingras never mentions ovarian cancer, because at first he said, she denies it. And then we proved it was her. And then, so-and-so hacked my thing. A dog ate my homework. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. So when folks like Reality Steve and Bruce and Lauren and Meg Fox and all the others, Meg Crime Watch and Bravo Docket, when everybody starts to come and provide that relief, it takes a lot of stress and pressure off of me. We're at the place now, New England Patriots fan here, when the Patriots won the Super Bowl, they won, it was like 10-3 or 10-0. It wasn't your typical Patriots win, but the Patriots defense was so airtight. You just knew, I think it was the Rams, you just knew they had nothing that they could do to penetrate that Patriots defense. They were stopping them left and right. There was nothing in the playbook that could be done to surprise them. They were on their game. They had all of the answers. I feel that way about this case. I feel that we have all the answers. We've got cartons and binders full of evidence. When you open the folder, all of it's in there. The faked this, the faked that. It's probably, we have 10 times the evidence that was even allowed into the family court. So on any corner, if she does decide to sue, we're just gonna continue to elevate the story to more eyeballs so they can see how crazy it was. That's all we can do. But as far as my thanks to Bruce and Omar sent me nice words. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention Omar in there. He came into this a little bit after Meg Fox and some of the others, but he came in like I did, like everyone else did, which is, all right, let's figure this out because, oh boy, I sure don't want to get this wrong. I mean, I'm not new to YouTube. I've gotten things wrong before on a much lower level. I've apologized when I've gotten things wrong. And I tell you right now, you definitely don't want to get things wrong because you'll have an audience of people that will hate you, that will, So with this case specifically, there was such thin ice and such a very thin scope for not messing this up that when we initially covered it, I was even barely saying, I don't know, it sounds a little like, let's get some more information because you don't want to look like you don't believe women. You don't want to look like an apologist for for a toxic situation where the guy's abusing. You don't want to look like all those things. But as the information comes in, we are entitled to put a little space around the truth, provide a little grace to figure it out, and then go, I believe she's lying. I believe she made this all up based on these past stories. And then she says, well, that guy had it out to get me. And you just hear the story over and over. Then you talk to these people. You look at their evidence and you digest it all. Her attorney is not being paid to do all of that. He's being paid or not paid, whatever his story is, to just defend her so that in the future he can defend other scumbags. So when it comes down to it, and apologies for making this video so long, the best thing I can do is continue to build my quote-unquote war chest of audience. And I do that in several ways. The free way, join the podcast. This is an entertainment news podcast. You don't like Bachelor content? Well, we do all that. We do entertainment, pop culture. We do the biggest news stories of the day. This morning, it happened to be a lot of Mike Tyson conversation, right? So that's how you can continue putting bread in the tip jar. If you want to donate on a way that's directly to me, patreon.com/Dave Neal. And that money, we have 1,030 paid people that come together and they donate a little bit of their $5, $8, $10, $50, whatever they want. And then they get these private live streams. That helps me out financially. Why do I need this help? Well, I don't if you don't want to give it, but if you do support me and you just want to subscribe to the podcast and share it with a friend, that's what you can do. You can come to a live stand-up show. You can really meet me wherever the hell you want. But the point is, I am prepared to fight any lawsuits she brings me. I am prepared to bring the truth and bring I'm not kidding. We will not skimp on legal services. I am prepared to fight this thing publicly. And what she needs to know is it ain't going to be pretty. And if she thinks the whole world's out to get her now, this is like a sub-segment of a niche that knows about her. And I can't be responsible for any collateral damage that comes from her story getting elevated, because all we're going to continue to do is share the facts. So I got my 4 agreements, which very quickly, be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best. Speaking of all your best, always do your best. I don't take it personally, the attacks he's making. I see them for what they are, superficial, and an attempt to get me to react in a certain way that might be ammo that they can use. That's just not going to happen. And I'll tell you why. When it comes to dealing with adversity, I'm the cockroach that he claims I am. I've been around for a long time. I've done minimum paying jobs. I've done Uber. I've cleaned vomit out of the backseat of my car when people had their 21st birthday and I had to drive them home from the clubs. I've done the dirty work. I've worked for free for a decade on my YouTube channel. I built my audience one brick at a time, from a 500 square foot studio to a 3,000 square foot home. I've put in a lot of effort to understand how humanity works, and I share laughs on stage to try to bring people together. So I respect Bruce for raising his voice because he doesn't do it often. And I raise my voice a lot for the theatrical illustration of the bizarre nature of this case. So why don't we swap things out, Bruce? And I'll just keep it kind of quiet right now and just say this. Be careful who you mess with. All right, I got a lot more content coming your way. We'll see you then.